So we need to talk about a couple things in the music industry. So this is like a 2-segment video. Okay, it's got first we're gonna talk about some Travis Scott. Then we're gonna talk about some Jason Aldean. Preface to that, I'm not a country music fan. Don't listen to country music. I only listened to that shit because it was creating some level of controversy. I wanted to see what the controversy was about. But anyways, Travis Scott with this shit up in Egypt. Who listens to Travis Scott in Egypt? Who even listens to Travis Scott in the whole continent of Africa? Ooh, now I'm asking tough questions. Normally, with rap music, I think I've ever heard of any other rapper doing a show in Egypt. You notice how like rap music has like the same tour stops for every artist that are international? Japan, England, some other parts of Europe, not very many. Maybe a couple places in South America, but to be honest, a lot of places in South America, like Ecuador being one of them, the old generation do not want none of that. They don't want no metal going there. They don't want no pop music. They want everything sounding... But there's like the same set lists. Like I think Turkey is another one. But like the first one you usually get to as an international tour, it's not even, like, this will be your first place you'll ever do. A lot of times it's Japan. I don't know why that is, but there's, I guess, it got in there sometime during the 90s, I believe, and it's been going back ever since. So, like, a lot of times rappers who don't even have a whole international tour will still play Japan and then come back and do a bunch of stateside shit. But I've never heard of no rappers going and playing a show in Egypt. Never heard of it. Never seen it. Maybe I'm just forgetting something. But I'm pretty sure this has never happened before. I know for a fact no rappers have gone and played the pyramids. And Egypt said, we don't want you to do this. Meanwhile, Travis Scott is on the run from New York, technically, for an assault third that could be even as much as a manslaughter. Because we don't know what happened to that dude who looked like he was going to have a stroke when Travis Scott punched him in the face. Who was in the hospital being kept under watch, which means the hospital saw probably what I did, that his speech patterns, joint stiffness in the neck, yet his ability to move with that joint stiffness suggested he was probably going to have a stroke. Stroke is actually, when it's going to happen, like when it's almost a guarantee it's going to happen, there's something called pre-stroke symptoms, because it's very clear this happens every time before someone has a stroke. Like my mom was an ER nurse, that's how I know that. I also said if we don't hear nothing about this victim beyond that, I really believe he had a stroke and he probably died. And in that case, you're not going to hear nothing else because the police in New York want to be able to be like, well, let's get him in here and talk to him first. It's hard enough getting him from LA in here as it is. If we up this to a manslaughter, it's going to be even harder. There's that factor of it. That I don't know how, if you have charges in New York and you try to fly out of LAX to go to Egypt, how those charges are gonna come up in your itinerary when you go to the gate, and how that's going to be dealt with from there. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, if they're going, like, how they going to go about letting him on a plane if he got them charges in New York. You see what I'm saying? Granted, that's not all interlinked all the time, unless someone's on, like, a watch list or a database. So, that might not even be a problem. I wonder if he has to connect in New York, is the police going to be waiting there for him? That's also a possibility. Egypt's not fucking with it. Now listen, let me tell you something about Egypt. When Egypt's not fucking with something, it's not just like you gonna go over there and they just gonna still let you do it. Like just say we're not fucking. No. I think a lot of people in America get used to how America does things. And they think it's shitty over here. So they're gonna be like, well, you know, when we do this in America, you know, it just ends like this. So if we do it over there, it's going to be, no. Egypt gonna have some goddamn APCs and tanks and fighter jets coming for your bitch ass on them fucking pyramids. Let me tell you, they gonna bring a military force. And they gonna shut that shit down. They're not gonna shoot nobody, but they're gonna shut that shit down with military force. There's something called the 6-Day War. Egypt and like 3 other African countries that just had a bunch of fucking military hardware from us and Russia and shit. So you know what? We're gonna go swing our dick at Israel. And, because we don't like Israel. Israel made them turn the fuck around. You're not Israel, Travis Scott. Egypt coming at you with like a 1/6 of what they came at Israel with. Let's just say they're just going at you with like 1/100th of what they got. They just bring like a battalion of like maybe like 1 APC and like a whole bunch of riot army guys at your shit. You're shutting it down. They're not having that. I'm saying you got the equivalent of the Egyptian FCC not fucking with you over there. I really want to see how this plays out, because I promise you're not doing that show. This is not one of those who gonna stop me scenarios. If it was me, they gonna stop me. That's one of those things like I learned from somebody I was incarcerated with. One of like the realest things this motherfucker Cash ever told me. He said, Ron Artest picked his battles. Let me tell you, that stuck with me ever since he said it. It's like when you see that motherfucker who's the size of a refrigerator and you're built like me and you're Dolo, you pick your battles. Unless you got a weapon on you, you pick your battles. So, long story short, yeah, I feel like they're trying to do this for some type of occult reason. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be able to be pulled off. I really don't. Because you got to play in the fact of how strongly Israel, this is not just some rinky-dink thing that's come out and said, we're not allowing this. That is a government organization. It's like the Smithsonian for Israel saying, we're not doing this. You know, the Smithsonian just bought like 640 caliber SMGs. Yeah, a museum needs 640 caliber SMGs for their agents. A museum has agents. So, I'm trying to even think about like what 40 caliber SMGs are on the market. I'm thinking of a couple, but usually like 9mm, 45, 32. Those are all common SMG rounds. I don't know many 40 cal SMGs. I know a few, but not many. So I'm like, how many are they buying? Why are they buying 640 cal specific? We don't want the 45. We want the 40 cal. Like the EPA bought some 40 cal SMGs. I kept hearing 40 cal SMG come up enough to where I said, did they come out with some new hot shit I don't know about? How they want everything, like just how they're getting the new SIGs to replace all the, you know why they're doing that? Because they left all the M4s and Mark 18s and shit over in Afghanistan. They said, oh fuck, we don't have enough. Everything's not uniform now. We have to get enough to make it uniform, guys. That's also why the U.S. and every other army that goes to war against the civilian populace loses. That uniform shit and that order shit, it's a real big disadvantage. But yeah. I don't think Travis Scott's going to be able to do whatever ritual he was trying to do over there. It's just not going. Let me tell you, Israel, especially the fact, like, it don't matter if it's the Israeli FCC Smithsonian saying it. It's the Israeli government saying, you're not doing this. And they passed a law banning Freemasonry back in 1964. Yeah, you're not doing this. They already said back in 1964, we're tired of all these people appropriating our symbols for their dumbass games. No, they're not allowed here. So, second topic, Jason Aldean and his song. Yeah, I did try all that in a small town, and I actually made it pretty far down the road. Pretty damn far down the road doing all that shit. Matter of fact, Jason Aldean. Yeah, I did all of that, Jason Aldean. Like, all of that. I did all of that. And I was still going down the road with a gun charge. Still going down the road with another weapons charge still going down the road. And I pulled a gun on people and threatened them, Jason Aldean. And I was still going down the road. And they sent me up the road. And then I came out, and I ain't go back to that small town. But I made it a lot farther down the road than that song suggests you will, to be quite honest. My problem is not with the song. My problem is with how people are critiquing it. Because he says nothing about white or black people in the whole song. He says nothing about anybody's race. I think maybe given who he is and the genre he's in might have been implied partially. But you gotta remember, everyone at every race jacks some cars. Shit, I know someone in prison, they was with the ABs. They came out, and literally the day after they got out, got smoked by some woman with her concealed carry because he tried jacking their car with their kid in it, and she wasn't playing. And she let him know, bah! And R.I.P. Mo. That's all it was. R.I.P. Mo. So yeah, people of all races, even white supremacists, jack old ladies at red lights. Regardless if it was insinuated or not, it wasn't blatant. And then for the news to come back trying to slam it and acting like it was racist, well, that's just, to me, that's saying that y'all as the news feel like the only people who do those things are black. And that's racist. Because the only person looking at any of this with race is y'all. Jason Aldean ain't saying nothing about that, and I have no reason to come to that main defense, period, at all. I actually make a mockery of the song because I did try all that in a small town. It actually worked out pretty good for me. They all wound up scared of me, homie. But there was nothing racist about that song, and the news to be trying to make it out like that really makes the news look bad. Especially right after the same exact news outlet came out wilding about Sound of Freedom. And y'all trying to slap the same buzzwords on this that you were on the Sound of Freedom. So what's really good with y'all seeing that? For real, let's talk about it. But anyways, that's just my thoughts. I'm out this bitch, man. Have a nice night.